Ms. Jaimy Blanco. And Jaimy, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. What a great overcoming of challenges to get you here. Uh,
I know.
uh,
Yes.
Jaimy, if you could explain to people why you even want, this is Houston. You're not supposed to be, firstly, a Republican. You're supposed to be a Democrat. And why would you even want to run in this particular jurisdiction for the congressional race?
Well, I was raised in that district. Since I was 11 years old, I lived there, and it is really a district that needs improvement. We need to bring back um, jobs. We need to bring back the environment to thrive, and it's just really important for me to run, especially with my, Judeo-Christian background, that we really need to uplift the people there and, bring bring the economy, bring up the economy and the area, economic growth in that area.
Now, Houston's the second biggest city in the country. So a lot of people think you all have oil wells in your backyards. You got absolutely great wealth. There's no problems, no issues. Can you explain to people the 29th Congressional District? I tried to do my best, but if you could explain to the American people exactly what's going on in 29th Congressional District.
Okay, so the 29th Congressional District, we're located right there where the Port of Houston is at.
Yeah.
So it is half of Pasadena, South Houston. It's right there where Hobby Airport's at, and it goes to downtown and by, past the, which is the Port of Houston, and goes up to Humble area.
Yes.
So basically, we do have a lot of resources that need to be used and capitalized on because we're right there by the city. Those places need to be. We need to bring in investors to come and invest in those areas to bring up uh, the area. It is 77% Hispanic in that district, and I believe the median income is 46,000. So that definitely we need to raise that up. The dropout is very low, very high
Yeah.
for high school graduates, which is another thing. But mainly is that we have the Port of Houston where we can create more jobs. We can give incentives for uh, investors to come and either have factories there and all that. It's just something that's been neglected. That seat has been a Democrat seat for 26, 27 years.
Wow,
The
it's
person who was
forever.
on, right, the person who was on that seat was Gene Green. He was there since they carved it out, and they carved it out in 1994 or 96. And ever since then, he's held that seat. He just retired, and that was the last 2 years. And that's whenever Sylvia Garcia got on that seat, who is also a liberal Democrat. And she is actually Hispanic, but she is a politician you call a career politician. She
Yes.
was in the state house. She was a judge. She was a senator in there, but she has brought no change to her people. So for me to go over there and to actually bring change to our community is so important because I know that that is what is needed.
Exactly.
It needs that.
You you are ferocious. People don't know behind the scenes. She and I have been talking back and forth for a while here. She is a ferocious and passionate individual who loves Houston and wants the very best for Houston. But you're going up against a marketplace where, first of all, I can't imagine with you all being the second largest city that the Port of Houston is behind South Carolina and Baltimore in terms of port work. It's incredible, and I mean Sylvia has had 2 years with Nancy Pelosi, and nothing's been brought to Houston. what would you do with Donald Trump and Kevin McCarthy, who would become the Speaker of the House if you all won the House back, that would be any different from Sylvia Garcia?
Well, Sylvia Garcia has been busy. Instead of taking care of her district, she was in California campaigning for Biden. And then she was busy trying to impeach our president these 2 terms. So she was actually appointed as one of the managers for the impeachment that was going on.
Yep.
And so that's the thing. She went in there and she just put herself in to go and just do her own kingdom instead of rising up God's kingdom. Okay. All she's doing is the political thing that she knows how to do. Of course, me working with Trump is so important because I actually got endorsed by the Latino for Trump, also Latino for President. And, you know, it is our responsibility to work one-on-one with our president and with the Speaker of the House, because there is so much that we need to get done. There's immigration issues that haven't been taken care of. There is, what is it called? Again, you know, where Trump wants to bring back those jobs. Again, there's things that haven't been finalized. I mean,
exactly.
He
the
gave
pharmaceutical,
so much.
and this is where I want to talk with you, Jaimy. Houston, with all of the great colleges and universities that are nearby, you mean to tell me, in the port that's nearby, you mean to tell me that you can't bring the pharmaceutical industry from China to Houston? Come on now, what happened?
Well, see, that's the thing, is that at this moment, we're pretty much Xing out China. Because of what has happened, we make them the second highest economy, and they have basically turned their backs on us. So when I get to Congress, my main thing is that we have Mexico that's right next to us, Central America. And if anything, we should have built factories there. We should have got medicines that we could have actually got contracts with there, because they have a low cost things that are for everything, supplies, everything. And if we were to bring up their economy and us combine together, we're actually strengthening our economy, because if anyone ever comes against us, if Mexico, Canada, US, all of the North America, okay, becomes an alliance, we'll be unstoppable. But instead, they made trade deals to send it all the way overseas. And what have they done for us? They've done nothing for us but just come and hurt us, okay? So for me, it's very important, because less people would want to come and migrate to the US if we can help Mexico's economy to grow up. If you knew the amount of money and the production that goes on in Mexico, okay, they just don't know how to handle what they have been blessed with, because they're next door to us. More people would want to stay over there. More people would want to be over there, because we're working one-on-one. Okay, but instead they come over here for jobs. Why? Because we sent all of our things to
China.
To China. Okay,
exactly.
Cheap product overseas, which costs more money to bring it in ships. But yes, we can use our port for so many other things, because the Port of Houston, whenever they open the Panama Canal, okay, super ships are able to come in now. Okay. Do you know that if a super ship was to break down here in the U.S., in our port area, they have to tow it all the way to France just to get it repaired? Okay, that's something that we could offer this southern sphere of the globe for people to have that and to create jobs. And there's so many other things that we can do. And you may say, okay, well, why now? Well, because we learn from our mistakes, right?
Yes.
When the epidemic was going on, we couldn't get a hold of supplies or anything. Why? Because they were all from China. They were all manufactured in China, cheap and everything. And we can negotiate deals with Canada. We can negotiate deals with South America and bring those products over here. We can do away with ever having to associate with China, because China has become our downfall in where we're at right now.
There are lots of Americans that would sit back, because what you're talking about is optimizing our free trade agreements with countries like Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, and as well the USMCA agreement that we recently have between Canada and Mexico to maximize productivity, reduce costs, and increase trade between these particular nations, which will reduce illegal migration. You have a
Right.
tremendous remedy in terms, and it goes along the pathway of what Donald Trump has been talking about, free trade and legal immigration are the greatest tools to eradicating trials and tribulations that come with narco in Mexico and other sources around the Latin American region, and as well usage of our ports. And unfortunately, it is a shame that the Port of Houston and in other ports that are in communities like Houston, Baltimore being one, uh, aren't excelling. I want to ask you in terms of your stance on life itself. Uh, are you finding, first and foremost, are you pro-life? Or are you you have a right to make a
Absolutely
decision? Okay.
important. That is so important. Support and to protect our babies. It is very important. You know, life starts in conception from our womb. Absolutely.
See, so I gotta ask you here. I mean, Donald Trump is going to be making a announcement at 5 o'clock on Saturday about his Supreme Court justice pick. Are you for a justice who is pro life and strict constructionist? Is that what the people of Houston want?
Absolutely. I mean, I speak for my district once I get there, but yes, they do. It's very important for us to put someone there that upholds our Judeo-Christian that this nation was founded under. You know, I mean, I wish that Ted Cruz would take that spot because he would be there for life, but he doesn't want it, you know? I mean, he is a dynamite and I think he would be great and we could always find someone to replace him as a senator because I mean, that's his passion. I mean, have you ever seen him? He filibusters for at least, 24 hours if he has to, okay? He's passionate
Exactly.
about it. And we do want someone that upholds those biblical values that are very important. And of course, we want him to fill it and we want him to have the right choice, you know. We
Yeah.
do feel bad that she died, and it was interesting that she actually died on
Rosh
the
Hashanah.
Jewish New Year, which is Rosh Hashanah, and she
Yeah.
was a Jew, and she totally was against God, you know, and the things she voted for, she was way liberal, you know, she forgot where she came from, and she forgot, to support godly principles, which is sad. There's good things, and again, but God took her for a reason, and there's a reason why she's gone, and now that seat is open, and it has to be filled
Exactly.
before the election, even though they're
Jamie,
fighting tooth and nails not to, but it has to be filled.
Jamie, one of the reasons I asked you that is because Planned Parenthood, up until about 3 years ago, had planned on building a super facility in Houston. It was supposed to be the largest Planned Parenthood abortion clinic in the country. And I'm wondering, how does that issue match with the fact that in your particular congressional district, 76% of those who live there are Hispanic?
Well, again, that is why I am running for that district because I am a voice to the people. And again, the people, it's, you said it's 77% Hispanic, and these people don't understand the difference between Democrat and Republican platform. They don't understand because if you go back and you interview a person, which we've done many times, we just show them the different platforms and say, well, we won't even say a name, and we'll just say, so out of all these, which ones do you believe in? They believe in family, they believe in pro-life. Half of them are Catholics because you know that Hispanics
Yeah.
come in Catholic background. They believe in same-sex marriage, okay? But they never were actually taught the difference and what they're supporting, because for them, whenever they hear the word Democrat, they think of the word democracy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In the word, and they think that's freedom. That means, but they don't understand that we want them to less government and more power for the people, for them to be successful in everything that they do. Now, again, like I said, it's just something that they've not been educated. And, we do see a lot changing. One of the presidents for Latino for Trump, she's gone to the south of, I'm not sure if you know Texas very well. So the Valley is very Democrat, and also a huge percentage of Hispanics. So we are amazed at how we're seeing the response of Trump, being supported by the president. And it was really great whenever we had the president of Mexico come and sign those deals, because that showed them that there could be an alliance there that can grow and be strong, and also educate the Hispanic culture. Because as you can tell, if you go back and see about Brexit, a lot of African Americans have now opened their eyes, because they were also stuck on that, not understanding that they set it up to abort their children because they didn't want them to overpopulate. And so that's what they're doing in the same thing with the Hispanics. And we actually have a lot of children, and so that's a good thing. But again, they're miseducating them, and they don't want them to know the truth because they want to use them for their agenda.
When you go out, Jaimy, into the neighborhoods, and you are politicking and talking with the great numbers of individuals that you do on a daily basis, what is the number one issue? Is it that Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, shut down businesses and that the economy was in somewhat of a disarray? Is it COVID-19? Is it education? Is it immigrant? What exactly is the biggest concern for individuals that you talk with?
Well, right now, it is pretty much the businesses that are affected by it. And I mean, this was an ongoing thing. This is an ongoing thing because of the COVID, so many people have actually lost their jobs.
Yes.
So many people, they can't recuperate from their business jobs, and Hispanics are small business owners also, and it's affected a lot of the district in that sense where. And then we see that the elderly people are, because of the COVID, they're actually, staying away and kind of like hiding out and doing their thing, for that reason, because of fear. And I do see a lot of fear that has in the district, though I'm still very much, welcome whenever I go knock on doors and when we make phone calls. But again, you do see that it has affected, and it's affected a lot of places, not just Texas, but, we're actually not as bad as other places. From what I've heard statistically, that people are moving from California to Texas and Florida. So that must tell you something.
But doesn't that scare you that people are moving from California and New York and Connecticut and New Jersey to Dallas, to Austin, to San Antonio, to Houston, and the possibility of them being there in force could turn Texas blue? Do you have that concern?
We've talked about it, and we're like, well, I mean, is there an agenda behind them moving, or do they really see that we have more freedom than them? Okay, yes. Because you're right. I mean, their vote can really affect us, but perhaps we can be that light and say, well, there's a reason why they're not, because they're demanding, because they're not allowing the government to, I mean, it's kind of like with Abbott. I mean, we protested and protested and protested and protested, because it's what the people do. I mean, that's what a revolution begins. It's where, we take back our power of who we are in society. Yes. So it you're right. I mean, it can affect us, but we're just hoping that we're able to change we are hoping that this COVID is an eye opener to people to see that that's how far the government can go, is even control our lives. And the thing is that we allowed it because the first week of COVID, after it passed, we were still living in that fear where we were still
Yeah.
at home instead of us being protesting. We should have started protesting, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks, and then from there on, whatever was the curve, which was 14 days or something.
Yes.
But instead, we allowed it. We were a sheep, and we allowed him to do it longer and longer and close this and close that. So we are at fault because we could have stood up to that, and we still have a voice, and we still have where we're able to do something on that. And we do see people getting together and fighting on it.
Exactly. Jaimy, the military is very, very important in our country, but we have the Ahmaud case in Atlanta, along with the police killing in Atlanta. You have the case in Louisville, Kentucky, Breonna Taylor. They're about to make a decision there. You got George Floyd in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
What say you regarding respect for the boundaries of a city, the people of a city, and your definition of what a peaceful protest is?
Well, a peaceful protest is a voice, signs, and microphones, and
Mm-hmm.
making a statement, of course. The type of riots that are going on is shameful, because our police were hired to protect, and our police are there to protect property and individuals and everything. The fact that they don't even want them to touch them, it's just ridiculous. And want
Mm-hmm.
to defund them because we're trying to stand up for something, that's just, it's uncalled for, because if anything, I am for police. I am
Yes.
for more money to be given to them so that way they could be able to expand and we can feel safe in that. Can you imagine if the police step aside and then there's riots and they go to your house and take your food? I mean, that would just be chaos, absolutely
Exactly.
chaos.
Jaimy, I don't think people can conceive in thought the whole idea of waking up one morning and being Newark, New Jersey.
Right?
Austin, Texas becoming Newark, or Dallas becoming Newark, or San Antonio. It's a wonderful idea to reimagine police. It's a terrible idea to put it in practice. And unfortunately, we have a lot of naive individuals who wish to do that. It's good to know that you are pro police, and you're probably pursuing the endorsement of the Houston Police Union as well. What is the message that you
Yes,
want to
I
tell? What is the message
tell
that you're
the
telling them?
the message to the police or to the
To the
constituents.
police. What is your message to them tonight?
Oh, I support them. 100%. I just had an event with the Black Back the Blues, and Brandon Tatum, he came. And, our thing was that, we support you and we want to make sure that you are also, and your family is taken care of, because the job that they do is is a very hard job. It is extremely, knowing that your husband may not come back. You can die in the line of duty. That takes a hero, and I don't think that we could pay them enough. I
Yeah.
don't think that it has nothing to do. I mean, a police officer chooses to serve, be a servant, and we should appreciate their servanthood, and we should also get ev- supply them with everything that they need to stay safe
Do you
and to
believe
be able to secure and help people also.
exactly? Do you believe that Black Lives Matter and Antifa, or Antifa, however way you wish to say it, are a threat to not only Houston but also San Antonio, Dallas, Austin?
I think that they've gone overboard, and I think that it's no longer an organization. I think it is now a terrorist that has entered in a nonchalant way using Black Lives Matters, because what they are doing to our nation is they're destroying it, and that's what a terrorist does.
Yes,
So it is using a word that they are that's describing their actions.
exactly.
Because a person who is from America um, would not be violating properties that don't belong to them and hurting people. And when you're doing that, then that means you are against your nation. And we
Exactly.
have they're basically against and have hate towards a nation that can be resolved. Their hate could be resolved in a different way, in a different matter, but not in destruction and hurting people
Exactly.
or burning things down. Because remember, they're burning things down too.
Exactly. Jamie, and final here, because I concur with you that they are terroristic institutions. And while Antifa may not be an organization, according to FBI Director Ray, their composition of organizations are terroristic. I got to ask you here, when Hispanics hear the term Black Lives Matter, what is the reaction in the Hispanic community?
Well, I think we had. I'm not sure if you know about the one girl who died in Fort Hood. Her name was Gian.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so she was murdered, and she was a Hispanic, and she actually was in Fort Hood, and she disappeared there. So again, whenever they found out that the person who was a murderer was a black person, African American, right? So they're like, hey, well, what happens? Don't we matter? Okay,
Hmm.
don't we matter when it has something to do about uh, your people getting hurt, but now a Hispanic got hurt by a black person. So we had a huge protest here in downtown area where thousands of people showed up to support that, and it's because you know we matter. Okay, whether we're any demographic, we all matter. The only thing is that we have to find that the issue is not in race. The issue is an issue of the heart,
There you
because
go.
there's hate, because there's evil, and there is maliciousness in everyone's heart, which is just like they say, oh well, did you not see the video where that man was killed, the police officer killed the, I forgot his name, with holding him down. I'm
Yes.
like, whether he was any other color, it was the fact that he did it without thinking, or he used force. It could have been anyone, okay?
Yeah.
Because it is the heart issue. So whatever issue it is, I mean, people who have who have done something, but it is a heart issue because they have that hate, or so it doesn't matter about race. And that's what we're saying, that evil is evil within the people. And if we don't go over there and address and change our nation to bring them back our to God, to identify themselves as children of God, then they're going to keep doing that. There's going to keep being hate and murder and so much things, because there is no love for humanity one on one for themselves. So we need to bring back love to our nation, and that would separate everything that's going on, because that is exactly what's happening. There's just so much blame, and there's so much accusations, and there's so much judgment, because they're judging upon it, because
Exactly.
he's not the first person who's died in a way like that. There's been many, okay, but again, it should be addressed according to the situation and the police officer, and taken to trial, just the way everything is. But again,
Exactly.
people are assuming, and people are making this big deal out of something that could be resolved. And I saw even you know it's like, if you're going to do it for one, okay, then you have to do it for everybody. But that's
Yeah,
the thing, is that they were using it as a weapon in order to bring division in our time of COVID and a time of peace, that we had to bring riots, and there's an agenda behind it, of course.
exactly. Jamie, you put it very well, and it goes along with the Pledge of Allegiance that there should be justice for all, equal
Yes.
justice under the law, and that, quite frankly, I find it an embarrassment that the LGBTQ Marxists, lesbians, have come together to be so adamantly opposed to Western civilization, to the family, and to black men, because that's what Black Lives Matter is really against, black men. And yet, we're supposed to jump up and down and wave our hands in the air every time a black individual resists arrest, which leads to a fight with police, which may lead to deadly force. However, there isn't any concern about the innocent bystander who was killed, or the child or woman or police officer killed during the riots. There isn't that concern by Black Lives Matter. And unfortunately, they created a division between blacks, Hispanics, and whites that is racially motivated, and as you stated, doesn't bring about justice for all. I want to ask you in closing, you have a hard race ahead of you, with the Democrats and Sylvia Garcia, and she wants to try to be the next national leader moving towards Speaker of the House. I want to ask you right now, what can the American people do to support your campaign, support you, and help you get across the finish line with victory in November?
Well, first thing I ask is for prayer, because that is the most important thing. From there, we do need people to donate their time, donate money, because we need everyone out there to be knocking on doors. We need everyone out there to be making phone calls, to be telling their people to vote for Jaimy Blanco and for other people. So I would appreciate if people would go to my website at JaimyBlanco4Congress.com. That's JaimyBlanco for Congress.com. And I would really appreciate it. Follow me at Jaimy Blanco, my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram. And, everything and anything counts, whether small or big. We will really appreciate it. And, we also need you to get everyone to vote wherever you live at. And we need you to get involved, because it is important that we all align ourselves to our purpose and listen to the voice of God, because He is the one directing us right now. And we need to be sensitive to His Spirit, because as a missionary and going to 28 countries, I have friends calling me all the time. Hey, are you going to come over here? We really need you. India is worse off than us. They get a ticket if they don't have their mask. And I said to them, I said, look, I said, to be honest with you, I can't leave the country anytime soon. I said, and I love you, and I will be praying for you from where I'm at. I said, but the United States actually needs missionaries at this moment. The United
Wow.
States needs help at this moment. We have no jobs. People don't have food. I said to them, I said, so if the United States is the beacon of light, if our light goes out, there is no hope for any nation around us, because they look up to us. And we have to be strong. We have to stay strong, and we have to fight, because if we don't, and that's why I'm saying each and every one of you, whether you've been involved in politics or whether you haven't, this is the time where you have to come in, because we need people to speak love to people, because you see the riots, okay? It is the matter of the heart. If these people don't understand that they have to identify, if they claim that they know God, then they should have the attributes of God, and be emulating that everywhere they go, because it seems to me that they're children of the devil, because they have hate and they have a destruction within them, and they need to understand that their identity is not lining up. It's the same thing where the gay community is where they're at, where they achieve what they wanted to. They destroyed the family unit because they wanted to tell the woman that she doesn't need a man, and women power for what? Because they knew that if there's an order, then a child would be brought up in a healthy home. But instead, oh no, just go and be a single mom and just raise the kids on your own. And the dad is never around, just doing life, with a variety of women, because that's their goal was accomplished. They came in nonchalantly and they destroyed the American Judeo-Christian foundation that we had. And now this is what we're facing. And now we have to get up and we have to correct that. We have to fight for it. We have to be that person that brings back that unity and know the words we're speaking. So we do, as a time it is vital that we all go and listen and seek for the voice of God. And right now, being the time of Rosh Hashanah for the Jewish, this is when God speaks to them. This is where he aligns them. And this is where he sets them for their purpose. And we all need to find that. Whether God calls you to run for something, whether God calls you to donate, whether God calls you to go and help in a campaign, whether God calls you to be the best teacher in your district, or create jobs, whatever it is, this is the time of unity. And this is the time where we have to have faith and trust that we are going to save America. Each and every one of us has a responsibility for our generation to come.
Jaimy Blanco with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Jaimy Blanco for Congress, U.S. House, Texas, District 29. You can find her on Facebook and Twitter at Jaimy Blanco. You can find her better at JaimyBlancoForCongress.com. It is a huge race in Houston. It is the time, it is the season for us to take the message strongly, the conservative message strongly to urban America that's been wanting for not only redemption, but renovation of the heart and the body. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaimy Blanco with us tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to your return soon.
Thank you for having me. Blessings.
Blessings. God bless you. It was great having you, and I'm finally glad we worked that thing out.
Thank you.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaimy Blanco. Listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back from the break, I want to talk with you about Guyana very quickly. We'll be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these messages.